Hi everyone, my name is Eric Mendoza. I own a junk removal company out here in Dallas, Texas, and today we're just going to be talking to you a little bit about how to do junk removal. I know when I started 2 years ago my junk removal company, there was absolutely nothing out there. So today we're just going to be going over how you can get your first job and how to price, because these are the two things that most people struggle with. And learning your price will actually increase your customer retention, I will tell you for a fact. So let's go over these things and let's go over how you can have a junk removal company. The story of your first customer is going to be very different than everyone else's. I know ours is, but a lot of people, they go through through apps and services. You have LoadUp, Junk Gurus, Thumbtack, all sorts of apps that you can use to get your first customer. Our first customer was a realtor called Matthew Soto, the mustache realtor. You've probably seen him on Instagram. And the story of how that came to be is very, very unique. When we started, it was me and my best friend. And we had this goal of just starting a business to have something to do because we were always bored. So we started researching, and after about 2 or 3 weeks after we said we were gonna start a business, we were both like, you know what, we're not gonna do it. And I said, no, we're not gonna give up on this. Because he had said he gives up, I had said I had given up, and then 2 or 3 days passed, and I said, you know what, we're not gonna give up. So I started doing a bunch of research on businesses that we could start, and one of my Google searches came up as junk removal. You can start junk removal at any age. And so I told him, I said, look, let's do junk removal. We started YouTubing, TikTok, Instagram, searching every single site, even Twitter. And we found nothing. There wasn't much out there when we started. You had Sonoma Strong and Jedi Junk Removal. Those were the two big guys. And then there were, videos that other people had made, but they weren't of the same quality. So when we started, we were looking for a how-to guide, which brings us to this video, how to do junk removal, how to get your first customer. The way we got our first customer is I went on my cell phone and I texted everybody. I sent messages on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. Like I said earlier, these apps are our main social platforms. I posted about it and I got zero traction. But what did happen is Raul Ramirez from RRCTs, feel free to hit him up and tell him that we sent you so you can get a discount with RRCTs. They'll print out your t-shirts. They made our Texas Junk Brothers shirts. But he actually went and he told someone within his networking group, and that's how we got referred to Matthew Soto. Now, he is a fantastic realtor in the DFW area. I believe he serves Wiley and the greater Dallas-Fort Worth area. I wouldn't know, highly recommend reaching out to him though. But what ended up happening is he called us out to do our first job. And we went out there, it was me and my girlfriend, and we did the job. Problem was, like I said, we were still learning. Our pricing was off. It was unexpected. So we arrived there, I had pre-printed the invoice, and I went and I knocked on the door, and some cleaning lady opened, and I was like, oh, I'm sorry. She said she wasn't the owner, but we left an invoice, a paper copy of the invoice in the mailbox. What we weren't expecting, the job went perfectly fine. What we weren't expecting was for some of the bags to be filled to the brim with sand. I don't know if a punching bag that they had broke or whatever it was, but there was literal sand in one of the bags. And while I was trying to pick it up, my girlfriend, she was holding the other side. It ripped and sand went all over the floor. Thankfully I had a blower, so I just blew it out of the way. So for the next job, I was very skeptical. So they sent me a message saying, hey, we need a quote for junk removal. So I said, okay, perfect. I said, this one's locked in, we've done work. But I was also remembering that there was sand in the last one, so I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna charge, I charged way too, the quote was priced super high. I didn't know what I was doing. So we lost that Mr. Soto as a customer, unfortunately, and it's just because we didn't know. I didn't know, and that's not necessary. That was my fault, but it won't necessarily be your fault. If you're watching this, I highly recommend using some of the tools that we're going to recommend, just because they're free, B, they'll help you out so much in the end. But we did the job. Dumping is very, very important. You have to know where you're going to take the junk. I had no idea what I was doing. Thankfully, a family member of mine owns a restaurant, and they were remodeling, so we were able to dump it in their dumpster. But if you're starting, you'll have no idea what to do with the junk. My first junk job was on my birthday, and my business partner was out of town, so my girlfriend came to help. Simple as that. And when you are in junk removal, it is a very interesting field, and pricing will kill you 9 times out of 10. You can have the best service, but if you bring in the wrong quality of leads, they won't be good. Now, once you have a couple jobs and you're ready to go pro, that's when you have to have consistent jobs. The way you do that is Google Ads. I personally didn't trust Google Ads. When we started, like I said, I invested $1,000 in the business that I had from working at a restaurant. That $1,000 meant a lot to me because it was countless hours of working at a restaurant. It was a mixture of tips and my hourly pay. And I was like, you know what? This is all I have. I'm gonna invest it. We ran Google Ads and we failed horribly because we had no idea what we were doing. That's why you have to call the pros. I would personally recommend Justin Hubbard over at Hauling Hub. Yeah, he is a fantastic person. He's mentored me quite a lot in junk removal, and I'm very, very happy for that. But that being said, Google Ads are your way to go if you want consistent jobs. I highly recommend partnering up with Justin Hubbard over at Hauling Hub because his service is absolutely top-notch. They watch and they monitor our Google Ads on a daily, weekly, monthly basis. On top of that, they report back to me and they tell me, hey, your Google Ads did this much, they spent this much, and they brought in this many leads. They handle everything. Now, that is once you go pro. You can also go with other people like ClickGeeks, or you can just find someone on Facebook who runs them for you. Those are options. But that's how you get your foot in the door to junk removal. Now, the second issue, how did we lose our first customer? Pricing. Pricing is very, very, very important. You have to know how to. Now, I got lucky when it came to pricing with us in the beginning because I was searching for like pricing sheets and whatnot, and I was searching for them, and I found one specifically for Dallas. It was a bit outdated, so I was undercharging at the time. I didn't know, but this really helped just sort of figure out pricing. Now, there are tools today that you can use. One of them being ChatGPT, but it's not optimized to charge you for junk removal. So what do I recommend personally? I recommend that you go, once again, I don't want to sound like a broken record, but you go over to Hauling Hub. They just released a brand new AI that will price jobs for you based off your location, drive, distance, and dump fees, and the size of your truck and or trailer. Or if you're, going and you're gonna spend a lot of money, your Isuzu NPR, which is the standard junk removal truck. If these are things that you are actively looking for, I highly recommend looking into A, Hauling Hub, and B, their AI. They've helped us so much. Now, there is a new AI coming very, very soon from JT Junk Solutions, and I'm excited to see that. I'm excited to see how it prices. I'm excited to compare both of them. I'll make a video for y'all if y'all are interested. But that is how you get started in junk removal. Now, we are going to be releasing a ton more videos as how to get started from step 1, setting up your EIN, LLC, and any other important documents, and just how to in general. So if this video was useful, I highly recommend you like, follow, or subscribe.